Welcome to Bench Kings, everyone. We finally made it to the last episode of this 9-part series, and I think we saved the best for last, the strikers. Also, if you enjoy this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us out. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first striker up on our list is Josh Sargent. It's gotta be. I know many people say he's just a short-term solution to a long-looming problem, but I just don't think that's the case. Josh is everything you want from a striker. Ever since his phenomenal U20 World Cup performance where he won the silver boot, he's shown time and time again that he's quality. Even the coach of Werder Bremen, Florian Kohfeldt, sees this and said that he can't see a starting lineup without Josh Sargent in it. And I agree, as this season Josh has contributed the most out of any other teammate, scoring 6 goals and 3 assists in the Bundesliga and DFB Pokal. The next best person on the team only has 6 points. Just imagine if Josh was on a team that consistently won and was a threat on the attack. Josh would be putting up monster numbers. His fantastic first touch, finish, and aerial threat makes him a fantastic striker to have. Also, he hustles hard on the press and tracks back, helping his defense. If Josh makes a big move in the future, I can see him ending up like Weston McKennie, going from good to great. Our number 2 man in my opinion is Daryl Dike, especially after seeing his stunning performances in the championship. For Barnsley, he has already scored 3 goals in 7 games, and in most of those games, he has played minimal minutes. He has shown on that cold, rough, beaten up pitch that he's the real deal, especially after scoring that inch-perfect rocket from an impossible angle. Since he's came in, Barnsley has been undefeated, and make no mistake of it, this is all because of DK. If he keeps up this run of form, he'll be in for a big transfer, as he's got all the tools to take him there. He's basically a more refined, better Jossi Altidore. He's got a rare blend of size, strength, mobility, and finishing that makes him stand out from the rest. You know, for such a big guy, he's got the touch of an angel, and it's been quite scary how much he has improved since coming out of the University of Virginia. DK is a G. Now we got Matthew Hoppe, the hat-trick hero himself. Since his crazy run of form where he scored 5 goals in 3 games, he has sort of cooled off, but that's to be expected as he's a young player on a horrible team. Currently, Matthew is Schalke's top goal scorer this season with 5, and we'll see if he can increase this tally. The one thing that most impresses me about Hoppe is his soccer IQ. His runs are always phenomenal, and if his team could actually give him the ball when he's making these stellar runs, then he would even have more goals. Some things he does have to improve on though, is his aerial dualability and passing. Next season, Schalke will be demoted to the Bundesliga too, which could be a good place for Matthew to refine his skills before hopefully returning to the top flight. Sebastian Soto is the next man up. For the beginning of the 2020-2021 season, Soto was loaned out to Telstar due to UK work permit issues. In Telstar, he played quite sensational, scoring 7 goals in 12 games. One thing to take note of though, is that this is only the 2nd division of Dutch football, so take these stats with a grain of salt as he is playing subpar competition. After this fairly good run of form, Norwich took notice, and Soto's loan was recalled as he finally got his UK work permit, making him eligible to play for the Canaries. Since coming back into the squad, he has played with the U21s and talk has come out of England that he has put on some impressive showings. If he can break through that Norwich squad, then Soto can turn into some player. Next up, we got Nico Joachini, who did turn some heads in that Panama demolition, scoring 2 goals in his 2nd game with the red, white, and blue. Nico currently plays for SM Caen in League 2, which is France's 2nd division. Again, just like Sebastian Soto though, this really isn't the best competition to go up against as these teams are fairly poor. Nonetheless, he has played pretty good, scoring 4 goals this season. Joachini is a textbook poacher. He's not going to dazzle you with his skills and technically sound feet, but what he will do is score goals. From watching his highlights, he makes some great far post runs and puts in a dagger almost every single time. If he can make a move to a bigger club, then he could be a big time player. Now onto the dual nats that could potentially put on that USMNT sweater. The first of which being Full Balogun of Arsenal. Balogun is an English-American dual nat that has been tearing it up with Arsenal's U23s. Many Arsenal fans actually want to see the young lad get called up to the first team because he's just that good. The 19-year-old has shown so much promise in all of his games. If we could somehow cop this beauty, then I could see Full giving Josh a run for his money for that starting spot. Malik Sanogo is a 16-year-old dual nat that could also fight for that starting spot in the future. Out of all the players on this list, Malik has by far the most potential. With Union Berlin's U17 squad, he has scored 6 goals in 4 games, and in one of these games, he had a saucy hat trick. And these numbers aren't a fluke. The season before, where he was only 15 years old, he scored 16 goals and 7 assists in 21 games. These are crazy numbers from such a young lad. Recently, talk has come out of Berlin that Sanogo might be called up to the senior squad, which I hope is true as the U17 league has been suspended due to COVID. Malik could very well become a top striker in the world. And now on to the last duel now, we got Malik Tillman, who plays for Bayern's second team. Unfortunately for Malik, he did tear his ACL back in October, so he hasn't played a game since then. Before he tore his ACL though, he was a starter for Bayern's second team and trained with the first team occasionally as well. In his first season with Bayern 2, he scored 5 goals in 8 games. Those are great numbers. If I had to compare him to any player, I would say he reminds me of Roberto Firmino. Obviously not as good, but if he keeps evolving, he could potentially get there. Let's hope we call him up soon and he decides to play for the red, white, and blue. Now on to the last part of the video being MLS players. The first we'll go over is Jossi Sargent. I'll be honest, I don't see Jossi as a starter, not even close. Yes, he had a great season last year with the crew scoring a staggering 15 goals, but even with this great season, I just don't see it. His first touch is still pretty horrendous and his technical skills aren't that well developed. Don't get me wrong, Jossi is a great goal poacher. And, well, that's about it. Knowing Berhalter though, he'll probably make Jossi a starter, and let's hope that's definitely not the case. Jossi Altidore is another player I don't want to see get anywhere near this team. You know, he had his time in the past, but that time is over. Last season, he only scored 2 goals, that's pretty pathetic. If this was 5 years ago, I would say without a doubt we gotta start Jossi, but things change, and the game has passed him by. Just like Michael Bradley, I never want to see Jossi in a USA shirt again. Jesus Ferreira of FC Dallas was turning heads in that Trinidad and Tobago ass whooping. He played a role in 5 of the 7 goals that were scored and put on a lethal performance. Even with this great performance though, I really can't see Jesus breaking into the squad. Last season he only scored 1 goal, and if you're a striker I need to see some sort of production from you, and 1 goal is not productive. You know, I hope he does prove me wrong and becomes an absolute beast this season, but I just don't see that happening. Like Jesus Ferreira, Ayo Akinola is another great player that I just see barely not making the cutoff. Ayo did have a breakout season last year, scoring 9 goals in 16 games, but even then when I watched Toronto play, I didn't see that razzle-dazzle that I hoped he possessed. He is a great physical player that has an eye for goal, but besides that, I don't see that technical ability that would bring him to the top level. If I was Ayo, I would honestly consider switching allegiances to Canada, as he will get much more game time with them than he will with us. Now on to the final player and one of the most exciting, Ricardo Pepi. The recently turned 18-year-old Dallas homegrown shows to have a lot of promise. This season with Dallas, we'll see if Pepi is the real deal. If he can shine and score some bangers, then I don't think it will be long till he moves abroad. His height and pace are great physical attributes to have, and then when you pair that with his technical ability, he makes for an outstanding player to watch. I got faith in Pepi. Hope he doesn't prove me wrong. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys. We'll see you in the next one.